Hi, Kerry here. I want to show you something. I want to show you this chart that I found and see what you think about it. Take a look at it. At first take, what do you think about this? Quite a drop, right? Would you have known it? That's Facebook. That's Facebook from its start. It's a weekly chart, as you can see, from Facebook Weekly. Started back in June of, I guess it would have been 2012. And that's its path. You can see it took a heavy hit back here in the subprime crisis. It dropped 43%. And then with the pandemic, it dropped 38% and rebounded quite quickly. But look at this, down 51% from its high, looks like in August of 2021. And I think it's worth looking at and understanding why and what the future is for Facebook, and if this is an extraordinary buying opportunity or is it the death of Facebook. Let's talk about this because that's a big thing there. Okay, so is this an opportunity or is this a warning? I think in all aspects of life, you have to recognize opportunity when you see it, whether it's finding that girl in high school that wasn't so good looking, but you saw the potential and you married her. That's kind of the situation I find myself in. I found the diamond in the rough. And that's probably one of the key elements of investing in the stock market, recognizing something that has fallen out of favor, but recognizing that it really has some huge potential if you understand what is happening. And I think that's what's happened with Facebook, and that's what I want to explore in this video. Is it a diamond in the rough, or is it a diamond that's turned out to be a zircon, and it's fading fast? The chart would lead you to believe it's fading fast, but I think there's more to it, and I want to talk about it in this video. Now, this is not financial advice.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
I keep a chart of those stocks that I want to own or I want to watch continually, and they include my Big Six plus Tesla, and I've shown you this before, but I've added something to it that I want to share with you. So let's take a look at that chart. As you can see, it's Tesla, Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Nvidia, and Apple. And on the far side, you see the number of shares that I own. I own a substantial quantity and value of each of these, except Tesla. I do not own any Tesla. But I watch them and I look at their charts on TradingView, and I see where would I like to buy them. Now I've been doing this for quite some time, and you can see that some of them have fallen into the range where I would like to buy them. Particularly that would be Facebook and Apple. Facebook is 5% below my target as of today, and Apple is within 1%. And then Google is within 2%. These are real values as I see them. But let's focus on Facebook. So I added this part below here, which evaluates their PE ratios, compares them, and you can see some tremendous deviation with Facebook down at a PE ratio right now of 15 and Tesla at 72, even at its depressed price. And then I've shown over here the year-to-date or year-to-year performance, and you can see that Google's down 7%, Amazon down 6%, but Facebook down 31%. So the question that I'm dealing with in this video and in my mind right now, what is the future of Facebook, and is it a stock that's actually from its high off 50%, as I showed you in that prior video. I think, first of all, you got to understand what happened to Facebook. Facebook was sabotaged by Apple. Understand, if I want to sell you a Best of Us baseball cap, and I decide I want to put an ad on Facebook to do that, and you saw it and said, hey, I'd look good in that hat, and you click on it, and then you proceed, you end up on my website, and you buy it. It used to be that Facebook could follow you through that full path. It could see that it, first of all, presented the ad to you, then it could see that you clicked on the ad, and then it could see that you went to my website, and then it could see that you bought the hat. And this would all be information that Facebook could feed back to me to help me make good advertising decisions. Well, several months ago, Apple stepped in and said, if they're on an Apple phone, once they leave Facebook, Facebook has no access to that data unless you make an effort to opt in to share that data with Facebook. Now, the reality is, when most of us are asked, do we want to opt in to share data? We will check no. And that's what's happened to Facebook, that on all Apple devices, they don't have that ending piece to tell me, the seller of the hat, whether you bought or not. They know that that they presented you the ad. They know that that you clicked on the ad, but from that point on, they don't have it. Now, on an Android phone, they do have it. So as a result of this change isn't that interesting? Everything is driven by change, even the 50% drop in Facebook prices. So right now, Facebook is suffering. That is why their price is down. So what we have to ask ourselves is, does Facebook have a way to work around that, to bring that information flow back to us, to me, the merchant who wants to advertise on Facebook? Or do I say, well, I'm going to take my advertising dollar somewhere else? And that's what the press is now. Many people are stepping up and saying, well, we're reducing our dollar expenditure on Facebook, and we're taking our advertising dollars elsewhere, and that's what's caused this drop. So I look at it and I say, are they going to find a workaround? Well, we know, and if you've read, you know, they're beefing up their Facebook stores. So what does that mean? That means they're coming to Carrie, who sells hats, and saying, hey, we can offer you a platform on Facebook that is smoother and cleaner and give you a better rate than if you use someone else's platform. So in other words, now if I buy in Carrie, the hat seller, when you click on the ad and I present you, Facebook presents you the opportunity to buy, it will be in their store. And then they will have that data. Do I believe that Mark is working to make that happen? I do. I do. Mark isn't going to let this just fall to the side, because in the long run, it's a more in-house operation, and he has more control. And now he is not controlled by the provider of the phone, because Google, who has more phones than Apple, has said within 3 years they will offer you the purchaser, because it's you, the purchaser, who is opting out of sharing that information with Facebook. Facebook will do a workaround on that. That's my confidence. So that helps me feel good about buying Facebook at a 50% discount. Beyond that, though, and even more important, is this whole atmosphere is going to change once we enter the metaverse. Think of the metaverse as you have an opportunity, or you had an opportunity back in 2019, 2019, you had an option to buy a new printer for your office, as I did, and I could either get in my car and I could drive 10 miles out to Best Buys and talk to some individual, buy a printer, pick it up, take it to my car, bring it home, and install it. Or I could gather the information on Amazon and I could buy the printer and have it delivered for probably the same price, if not cheaper, within 48 hours. That was a decision I made in 2019. That pretty much changed the world of brick and mortar. All you got to do is go to your shopping center and count the number of empty stores. All you've got to do is drive down the road and see the empty strip centers that no one wants to put merchandise in, because the purchasing world went online. That's about what's going to happen with the metaverse. Your whole shopping experience will change. It will move to a portal, a platform, and who's going to control that platform? Well, let me give you a clue. Facebook has 2.9 billion monthly users. Of those 2.9 billion monthly users, 66% of them log on to Facebook every day. 2.9 billion, 66% of it every day. Well, that's a fantastic number, Carrie. But give me some relevance. Google has 1 billion monthly users. Facebook 2.9, Google 1 billion. How can that be? Everybody uses Google in the United States, but not around the world. Everybody uses Facebook around the world. That's the difference. That's the changing factor in this whole thing. You aren't going to move 2.9 billion users, monthly users, 66% of which log on every day, from another platform when the metaverse comes. When the metaverse comes in full force, and it will come in pieces, you're going to find yourself on Facebook. So, my take, and that's all it is. This is not financial advice. Please do not interpret it as such. Facebook is on sale. Facebook is on ridiculous sale. Why? Because we live in a world that responds to fear. Does the people who respond in fear understand what is going on and why this happened to Facebook? No. Oh, some of them do. I gotta believe that the Wall Street analysts do. But again, Facebook isn't going to cure this problem in 90 days. And they work on a 90-day time frame. They have to report their numbers every quarter. And who am I speaking about? I'm talking about Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan and your mutual fund providers and your hedge fund providers. They have to tell you every 90 days as to what they were able to achieve. Is Facebook going to turn this around by, let's see, we got January, February, March. So the next reports will come out in about, 15 days? Are they going to turn this around in 15 days? No. But that's when Wall Street has to report. So Facebook's price will stay down until Facebook announces we've got a workaround. And then they'll have to prove it. So Facebook's price today is $187 a share. It may go a little below that. It's 5% below my target price of $196, but I'm a buyer. I'm a buyer of Facebook. I'm also liking the looks of Microsoft. We'll talk about that another day. So that's how I think. How do you think? What's your take on Facebook? Is it a dead dog? Go into the comments and you tell me. Is Facebook a buy, a sell, or a hold? Let's put our heads together. And if you think it's a sell, give me some substantiation for your comment. If you think I'm all crazy and all wet, give me some substantiation for your comment. And if you want to discuss this further, every Friday I hold a Zoom call with my tribe, the people who subscribe to my Patreon account, and we talk about things like this. We're going to expand upon that, and I'll be talking about that a little bit more in the future. But that's enough said today. Talk to you again tomorrow.